Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be diving into something today that's been all over the news here in Malaysia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the school calendar.
Interesting.
So specifically,
Okay.
whether the 2025 school year
Mm-hmm.
should be starting in February
Yeah.
or if it should go back to January
I see.
like it did pre-COVID.
Gotcha.
And, at first glance, it might seem like just a month. Like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
But I've been looking through a bunch of articles,
Uh-huh.
talking to parents, even got a teacher's perspective. And it's actually a much bigger deal than you might think.
It's funny how something that seems simple, like just shifting the calendar,
Yeah.
can create so much debate or discussion. But I think it really highlights how important education is for everybody.
Absolutely.
How it's connected to economics, family life, even a student's psychology.
Yeah. And speaking of psychology, one of the sources we looked at, Malaysia now, highlighted this thing that parents are calling dead time.
Dead time.
And it's this dilemma where final exams, the UASA are already done.
Okay.
They finished those back in November.
Right.
But the school year doesn't officially end till January 17th. So parents are saying that their kids are basically just sitting around.
Oh, so they're just kind of like twiddling their thumbs until a break.
Pretty much. And, I can see how that would be frustrating for parents, but I think it goes beyond just boredom.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about all those months that the kids spend building up those study habits.
Yeah.
Getting into a routine.
Getting into that groove. Yeah.
Right. And then all of a sudden, everything just stops.
It just comes to a screeching halt.
Yeah. And then trying to get back into that in February, it's like pushing a car uphill.
Absolutely. And
the article even mentions that a lot of kids during this time, they're not really doing much learning.
Right.
They're just doing paperwork, returning books, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So not really mentally stimulating.
Not really.
Right. And I can also see how this dead time would be extra frustrating for parents with Ramadan coming up.
Right.
Because the article also mentioned that a February start date means families have to deal with those back-to-school expenses right when they're also preparing for Ramadan.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle at once.
Exactly.
It's not just the cost of school supplies, it's the food, the decorations.
Right, so it creates this extra financial burden.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think for a lot of families, it can even mean choosing between fully preparing for the new school year or being able to participate in all the religious events and celebrations.
Yeah, so it's really not just about dates on a calendar.
Right.
It's about families having to navigate some real economic challenges.
Absolutely.
So it's easy to just jump on the January is the answer bandwagon.
Right.
But the articles also point out a pretty big issue with going back to January.
Hey.
And that's the SPM exams.
Oh, the SPM exams.
Yeah. So for people who maybe aren't as familiar with the Malaysian education system, the SPM exams are taken by secondary school students, usually around 17 years old.
Okay.
And they're really important. They're kind of like a stepping stone to higher education or, starting their career.
Makes sense.
And these exams actually run from December to the following year.
Oh, wow.
So if the school year were to shift back to January, it would really disrupt the whole exam schedule.
Yeah, it would throw everything off.
Right. So it sounds like we have a bit of a catch-22 here.
Yeah.
Parents are frustrated with this dead time and, the financial pressure.
The financial pressure.
But moving to January creates this whole other problem for high schoolers.
Yeah.
The article did mention, though, that with things like field trips, workshops.
All right.
But the question is that enough?
Yeah. I mean, are those activities really keeping students engaged?
Right.
Are they learning?
Right. Are they actually high quality?
Yeah.
Or are they just kind of busy work
to
fill the time?
Right. It's one thing to call something educational.
Yeah.
But are these experiences really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they helping students grow?
Exactly.
And then there's the teachers.
Yeah, we can't forget about the teachers who are facilitating all this stuff.
Right.
The article quotes one teacher who makes a good point that shifting to January would actually cut into their break time.
Oh, yeah.
Which could lead to burnout.
Of course.
And I can imagine that burnout wouldn't benefit anyone.
No, not at all.
Because burned out teachers can't really bring their A game.
Yeah, it's hard to be enthusiastic and engaging when you're exhausted.
And it just brings us back to, that a teacher's well-being has a huge impact on the quality of education.
Absolutely.
So even though a January start might seem appealing at first, we have to consider all these other factors.
Absolutely. It's not a simple solution.
No. And so far, it seems like, it's not just parents dealing with dead time. We've got financial pressures. We've got the SPM exams.
The logistics of the exams.
And then the potential for teacher burnout.
It's definitely complicated.
It's a very nuanced situation.
It is. And I think it goes beyond just, logistics and dates on a calendar. It really makes you think about the purpose of education itself.
Exactly. And that's something we'll be talking more about in the next part of our deep dive.
Definitely. Looking forward to it. It really does make you think about, what are we even trying to achieve with this school calendar? Are we just trying to cram in as much instruction time as we possibly can? Or are we actually trying to create an environment that gets kids excited about learning?
That's a great question.
And prepares them for life. Beyond the classroom.
I think sometimes we get so caught up in the logistics and the the structure of it all that we forget about that bigger picture.
Absolutely.
Like, what kind of learners are we trying to create? What kind of citizens are we trying to nurture?
Exactly. And when you start thinking about it that way, this whole debate about the calendar, it takes on a whole new meaning. Instead of just focusing on, should it be January? Or should it be February? Maybe we should be asking, how can we make those post-exam weeks truly valuable for learning?
I love that idea.
Turn that dead time.
Instead of dead time.
Into an opportunity for a different kind of learning.
Like maybe something more hands-on.
Exactly.
Maybe even student-led.
Precisely. What if those weeks were used for in-depth projects? Or maybe they could get involved in community engagement or even get some experience with internships or apprenticeships.
Wow.
So they could get a taste of different careers.
That's a really neat idea.
I've even heard of some countries that have these learning festivals.
Learning festival.
During these times where students can pick and choose from all sorts of different workshops and activities.
So they can kind of follow their interests.
Exactly.
And see where that takes them. That sounds incredible.
It's a really cool concept.
It would definitely require a shift in thinking. Maybe even some changes to the curriculum itself.
It would be a challenge. But it could have huge benefits.
I think so too. Now, another idea that came up in our research was this concept of a hybrid system.
A hybrid system.
So I'm kind of curious, how would that work?
So one idea is to have different start dates for different levels of school. So, for example, primary schools, they could go back to starting in January. But secondary schools, with those SPM exams, they could stick with February.
That's interesting.
There's a possibility.
Because it would solve the problem of disrupting the exam cycle. But it would also give the younger student, a more structured...
A more consistent schedule.
But wouldn't that create logistical problems for families?
Who have kids in both primary and secondary school.
It's a valid concern. And I think any changes to the system are going to come with their own set of challenges.
Of course,
But the point is to think creatively and explore all the options. Maybe there's a way to stagger start dates. Even within a school. Or offer more flexible schedules for families with multiple children.
So it's about moving away from that one-size-fits-all and recognizing that different students and different families have different needs.
Absolutely. And it brings us back to that bigger picture. We're not just talking about dates on a calendar. We're talking about creating an education system that actually works for everyone.
It's like we've zoomed out from this whole calendar debate. And now we're looking at the entire landscape of education in Malaysia.
And it's a complex landscape.
It is.
But it's also exciting.
It is exciting.
To think about all the possibilities.
And that's what I love about these deep dives. Is that they really force us.
They challenge us.
To look beyond the surface.
Think critically.
And grapple with the complexity.
Because it's easy to just get caught up in the headlines and quick fixes. But it's those deeper conversations that really get the wheels turning.
Exactly. And that's what we need. We need more people.
More engagement.
Having these thoughtful conversations about education.
Absolutely. Because ultimately, the future of education in Malaysia depends on us.
That's a great point.
We need to be asking those tough questions and pushing for solutions.
And speaking of solutions, what does all of this mean for you, the listener?
Well, whether you're a parent, a student,
a teacher,
or just someone who cares about education, this issue affects all of us.
Yeah, it really feels like we've gone from talking about, January versus February to reimagining entire school year.
It's a big conversation.
It is.
But it's an important one.
It is.
And it's exciting to think about, what could be.
Yeah, all the possibilities.
All the ways we could improve things.
And I think the most important takeaway is that this isn't just something that, the Ministry of Education decides. It's something that we all have a role in, whether you're a parent, a student,
a teacher,
anyone.
We all have a stake in this.
Who cares about education?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So don't just accept the way things are.
Right.
Ask those tough questions.
Yeah.
Talk to people.
Have those conversations.
Advocate for change.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe this deep dive has sparked an idea for you.
Right.
Maybe you have a thought about how to make those post-exam weeks, more meaningful.
Yeah.
Maybe you have an idea about how to balance the needs of those different school levels.
Exactly.
What if those weeks became a time for students to really dive into their passions or, work on projects.
Community projects.
That benefit the community.
Yeah. Or even learn some skills that would be helpful.
That they could use in their future careers.
That's
a great point.
Yeah. Instead of looking at that time as a disruption.
Yeah.
What if we looked at it as a chance to do something really innovative?
Yeah, like to completely rethink how we approach education.
To break the mold.
During those weeks.
Exactly. Maybe even rethink the structure of the whole school year.
What if we had, shorter, more focused terms with, breaks built in for students and teachers?
That could help with burnout.
Absolutely.
And create a more dynamic learning experience.
There are so many possibilities.
I know. It's really exciting.
It really is. And that's what we want. We want everyone to be a part of good conversation.
So share your thoughts.
Yeah.
Share your ideas.
Your solutions.
Share your solutions.
It's the future of education.
It depends on all of us. Depends on all of us. Well, this has been...
this has been great.
A really eye-opening deep dive. Yeah. You've explored the challenges. We've considered the different perspectives. And, we've even... brainstormed solutions.
Absolutely.
So now it's your turn to take this conversation further.
Keep the momentum going.
Here's one final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
What if we stopped thinking about the school calendar
as something that's set in stone and started seeing it as this flexible tool?
A tool that can adapt.
That can evolve and change to meet the needs of our students.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
But I think if we work together,
we
can create something amazing.
So let's keep those conversations going.
Yeah, keep talking.
Share your thoughts, your ideas.
Yeah, solutions.
Your solutions.
Share them with everyone.
Because the future of education depends on all of us.
It really does. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
On this deep dive.
And until next time.
Yeah.
Keep those minds curious.
Keep those minds curious.
And those conversations flowing.
Absolutely.